Mabuhay! I'm Rama, and welcome to my art space. I've been planning a series a few months ago, and it's only now that I decided to start working on it. And if you haven't seen that video yet, I can put up the link in the description box below, or you can check it out here. I have been procrastinating for some time, but I have finally decided to get out of the rut and start the work right now. It started with a painting that I made about 2 years ago. To know the story behind this painting, you can find the link of the video in the description box below. To make a follow-up of that painting, I plan to make continuing paintings that would have been painted on 12 by 16 canvas panels. But I made bigger plans for this project, so I had to ditch this one and use a box-type museum wrap canvas. You know, I'm excited to open this because I wanted to start the project right away. Can we start tomorrow instead? I'm kinda obsessed with this bubble wrap. Enough with the bubble wrap, and let's return to our project. For the underpainting, I mixed burnt umber, lemon yellow, and titanium white. I made sure I covered the whole surface of the canvas, even all of its sides, with the underpainting. Not only did I work on one, but on 3 canvases that day. The reason that I bought 3 canvases for this series, even though I have already painted the first one, is because I'm going to redo that first one into a new painting. I actually plan to submit this to a gallery because I don't want to keep these paintings for myself. That's the reason why I bought the box type canvases, because I want them to be of museum quality. What's good about box type canvases is that they're very sturdy compared to the usual canvas panels that have no backing and would also bend easily because they're not framed or pre-framed. So I chose to use these box type canvases since I want some commercial value for my work. To make sure I have the right proportions of the subject, I made my own photo shoot. This photo that I've taken would be used as the reference for the subject. I first made an outline using burnt umber. Then I filled the negative spaces within the outline with gray paint. As for the background color, I mixed ultramarine blue, a tinge of scarlet, and black. I made sure that all sides and edges were painted and no stray bristles remained on the canvas. For this day, I initially planned to work on the face, but worked on the other parts of the body instead because I found that the proportions of the face was all wrong. Just like the first version of this painting, I colored the subject gray to indicate sadness, loneliness, and grief. And these were the emotions that I had recently. For those who have been following me for some time, I'm sure you're aware of the family tragedy that we had. Sometimes when I work on my paintings, I'd stand, or when I'm tired, I would just take a seat. I would also take breaks in between. Painting the torso and the legs was not as easy as you think, and I kept on adding layers over and over again until I got the desired effect. Today's painting session actually took me more than 2 hours. The face is one of the hardest parts of this painting, especially that I'm not much an expert when it comes to this area. But I was surprised that I was able to work on this for only around 30 minutes. Since it's the weekend, I took lots of breaks in between. It's really nice when your bed is only within your workspace. Now it's time to paint the hair. Similar to the first version of this painting, I painted the hair gray but left some parts uncolored, so this would be filled up with the colors of the rainbow. The flowing rainbow was the most complicated and the most detailed part of this painting that it took me almost 6 hours to finish. Looking at the result, I like this better than the first version that I've made 2 years ago. You might think I'm through with this, but actually this is not yet the end. After a few days, the paint is not yet completely dry, but upon closer inspection, there were cracks on some of the parts that have been dried. There were also smudges of other colored paint. I needed to recreate another layer of dark violet in order to cover all those cracks. This time, I did not mix the paint with other mediums such as drying linseed oil to make sure there would be no more cracks when it dries. I suspect that the cracks were caused by too much oil medium on the paint. I'm anticipating that the drying time will now take longer now that I did not put any drying linseed oil on this fresh layer. A few weeks interval, or I'm guessing it's more than a month's interval before I was able to finish the painting. The next set of work was done on December 30th, 2023. What I did on that day was repaint the colored portions of the painting because I noticed that after the paint dried, there are cracks on the paint. So it looks kinda old and this ugly. So I had to repaint those parts. I had to repaint the whole colored part and even the edges of the subject, especially the black outline. I had to repaint them. I had to cover them so it would look better. Actually, it did look better after I repainted, but I couldn't finish it on that day, so I continued it on the last day of 2023, which is December 31st. And it's kind of weird that I spent that whole day just finishing what was left. After I finished the painting, I realized later on that I think it's God's timing why I was able to finish that painting on that day. I felt in my heart that by the time the clock strikes 12, I had to change the painting on the easel and change it with the second picture on the series, which I have already started, but I couldn't continue. And somehow by changing the painting, I knew that the Lord was telling me that it is a change of season. The season of hopelessness and grief is over, and the season of restoration has come into my life. That is the season that I am in now in 2024. I think that the reason that there's a delay in finishing the painting is because there's also a message that comes with that Kairos timing. When the right timing comes for the seasons to change, and I felt it's so prophetic and it's so profound that it really spoke to my life. Finally, after nearly 1 year in the making, I'm now going to reveal to you the first painting in my Colorless series in 5, 4, 3, 2... If you like this video and even my painting, please click the like button. And if you're here in my channel for the first time, I'd also ask you to subscribe and also click the bell button so you would be notified of future videos that I'll be producing. Again, I'm Rema, and thank you so much for being with me in this painting journey up to the end. I hope to see you again in my next art space. Bye! I've been planning to make a series a few months ago, and it's only now that I decided to start it. Why the dogs are so noisy, my God? And start it right now. And start this series now. So I have to ditch this one and so I had to ditch this one and so I had to ditch this one and box type museum to get out of the rut and start the work right now.